Why fast food sucks now, let's run it.
I'm going to show you a few different modern fast food locations with the logos removed, and I want to see if you can guess which restaurant it is. Here is number 1.
Yeah, they're taking the soul out of like the physical buildings, and they all just make them look the same. But that's also then you can't really tell the difference, because then, like, let's say McDonald's were to sell or relocate or something, then they could just put a Starbucks there and no one would know that it was a McDonald's before.
That is Panda Express. Here's number 2. That is Arby's. Here's number 3. That is Burger King. Here's number 4. That is Wendy's. Fast food restaurants in America have completely lost their identity, but it doesn't stop at these soulless gray buildings. Fast food used to be cheap, tasty, and most importantly, fast. And on top of
Yeah, because even McDonald's used to have beef tallow, but now it's all just those seed oils.
that, the experience
Because it's cheaper.
used to be fun. Today, the color is gone. The prices for a meal are almost the same.
Bro, I remember as a kid. Yeah, because this is how McDonald's was as a kid. Color and like a soul to what it was. But now it just sucks.
Same as a regular restaurant, and the service is slower than ever. But this did not happen by accident. In fact, it's all by design. And today I'm going to break down why fast food today is colorless, expensive, and slow. And while it might sound like all hope is lost, there is something you can do to change it. And if enough of us do that, we just might be able to return to the glory days. Modern American fast food buildings are the perfect representation of the soul that's been sucked out of the industry. What used to be these creative architectural fun houses have transformed into sterile gray boxes that are severely lacking identity. Some of them kinda look like modern homes, some of them look like banks, some of them just look like corporate offices. But when you remove the logo, you genuinely could not tell what restaurant it was. Compare that to what this architectural illustrator posted on Reddit.
Yeah, exactly. You can tell what the old shit used to look like.
Even without the logos, you can still tell which building belongs to each fast food brand. Or can you? I'll see if in the comments one of you gets all 12 correct. Belongs to each fast food brand.
Let me take a guess here. McDonald's, Steak and Shake, Burger King. I'm gonna go with Arby's on this one. Arby's. And the rest, I don't fucking know.
Or can you? I'll see if in the comments one of you gets all 12 correct. Early Taco Bell locations were designed to evoke the look and feel of traditional Spanish and Mexican style architecture. The original buildings featured stucco walls, red clay tile roofs, exposed wooden beams, and arched entryways.
Yeah, like I don't remember this shit. Yeah, I'm not that old.
Now, you get a gray box with a modern purple LED light. Pizza Hut's red roof became such an iconic part of their design that now when a new business takes over the building and attempts to redesign, everyone knows it used to be a Pizza Hut. But today's Pizza Hut? Yep, another gray box. McDonald's used to have these big glowing arches you could see from a mile away. I was surprised to find out that there are still a few locations that maintain that 1960s vintage look. Take this Bloomington, Minnesota location for example. It still has the
Yeah, I've only seen a couple. I think there's one like in downtown Chicago. I think it's like a 2-story McDonald's or some shit.
massive arches on each side, the red and white.
Oh yeah, like this is fucking sick.
White striped bricks around the edges and red outline gives it this cartoonish but welcoming vibe. But sometime in 2023, they decided to get rid of all that charm and paint it gray. During McDonald's nationwide boom in the 1970s, they made a major rebrand to build locations faster. The red mansard roofs with the yellow accents that were supposed to resemble French fries is what most people remember visiting throughout their childhood.
Yeah, like this is the McDonald's I remember as a kid.
There's still a few locations out there that haven't been modernized. This one in Dunedin, Florida looks absolutely beautiful with the palm trees and the bright blue sky. Or check out this stunning Durham, North Carolina location. This photo was taken in 2021, but it looks like we took a time machine.
Yeah, and I wonder why they would remodel like this. I understand making it easier if you need to shut down, relocate, whatever it may be. Places like McDonald's, Taco Bell, all these places, like they've been at the same location for the past 20, 30 years. Unless you plan on going somewhere anytime soon, why switch it up from the original look?
back to 1993. Sadly, this one was also painted entirely gray in 2024. Even this location outside of Disney World looked like a theme park of its own, and I'm sad to admit that this creative masterpiece has been replaced by what looks like a corporate headquarters. Now, one of the main reasons behind the gray box trend is that it's a safer, smarter real estate investment. This strategy leans heavily on modular.
Yeah, I mean, because McDonald's is one of the highest if not the highest real estate holder. If you're secured a location, why worry about having to move?
Construction and prefab standardized architecture. When a previous brand needed a very specific build out, which usually came down to their custom roofs, it just costs more. And in a way, they're also preparing for their imminent failure, because these vague buildings can be transformed into just about any other business. In New Jersey, this Wendy's was...
No, I don't think it's the worst idea on a business move for some companies. I mean, because they're like, I've seen, that layout of a building get replaced by 5 different companies in the span of however many years. But, you're also taking a risk by going to a new location. But like, my point is, like, if you're already established at a location for the past 30 years, why switch it up?
Transformed into a Burger King. In Missouri, this old Burger King was turned into a Wendy's. This former Taco Bell KFC combo was...
Bro, I do not understand that fucking combo. Taco Bell and KFC. It's like, I feel like it has to be one or the other.
Turned into a local...
I understand like the Dunkin' Baskin Robbins combo. That makes sense, but like KFC and Taco Bell are entirely different.
Pharmacy, and this former Arby's is now a local pizzeria. And to no surprise at all, the local pizzeria made a more charming and visually interesting design. Now, my favorite is when chains actually do the opposite of this, when they repurpose an old building, like this old bank in Wilmington, North Carolina that was transformed into a Dunkin' Donuts. It's undeniably smarter and probably more sustainable to build buildings that can outlive the brand inside them, which will in turn reduce waste and provide opportunity to future businesses. But there's just something sad about it too. Each restaurant lost all its character. But it's not just the exterior that lost its character. The interior is where many of these places thrived. Stepping inside used to feel like entering a little world of its own. Taco Bell had these purple and teal Art Deco chairs, textured wall tiles, and
you know what? The inside of what still gives off this vibe? Like Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake still kind of has that vibe. I feel like Steak and Shake's low-key making a comeback too. And they use 100% beef tallow to cook and fry their shit. This is like the vibe like McDonald's like started off trying to be.
Neon squiggles that felt like walking through a 90s arcade. People today would probably call this tacky, and they might not be wrong, but damn, it has an identity. It had an immaculate 1970s grandma aesthetic. Wood-paneled walls, stained glass lamps hanging above every table.
That was a Wendy's?
Plush burgundy booths, and soft yellow lighting that made it feel more like a cozy living room.
The old Wendy's when they had like the yellow packaging.
Than a fast food joint. And these sunrooms? Dude, these sunrooms absolutely ripped. Pizza Hut felt like a legit sit-down restaurant with thick carpeting, red vinyl booths, and those iconic Tiffany-style lamps that turned every meal into a dimly lit occasion. McDonald's had burger seats. Look at these burger seats. Are they a little terrifying? Sure, but I think we can all agree that we want them back. And when management...
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know if I'd be sitting on a burger seat.
Started encouraging a more kid-friendly atmosphere, almost every franchisee built massive playgrounds and indoor sets packed.
That was the shit as a kid.
Packed with massive tubes, nets, and ball pits to play in while the adults got to enjoy their meal. However, for years,
I've still seen McDonald's that has these.
McDonald's
it's not that common anymore, but I've seen them.
Been dealing with injury lawsuits where kids hurt themselves climbing around rope ladders and monkey bars. In a 5-year span alone from 1986 to 1991, 1,500 injury claims were filed against McDonald's when kids fell off their equipment or got trapped in one of their structures. Hundreds, if not thousands of injuries went unreported, and not to mention the sanitation concerns. Even as a kid, I knew those things were filthy.
Yeah. But I feel like you also really just don't give a shit when you're a kid.
Some places have still tried to hang on to that old school charm well into the 2020s. I found this 1950s retro diner inspired McDonald's location in Williamsburg, Virginia. They have a whole ass 1957
All right, that's sick. I've never seen anything like this.
Chevy on the inside just parked in the middle of the restaurant. This beautiful time capsule location was, you guessed it, grayed out and turned into another.
But like, why? Like, it's such a cool spot, and especially like, if that's gonna be like the place for like, because that's probably one of the most unique places within your area, or one of the unique places within the country. People will go out there and be like, hey, I heard if someone has to go out to Virginia for whatever reason, be like, hey, there's this McDonald's that's like trapped in the 50s almost, like, why don't we go there? But now it's like just a regular ass fucking McDonald's. That's stupid to me.
Their modernized hospital cafeteria a few years ago. A location in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn was redesigned to a 1980s theme for a Marvel movie, and to no surprise at all, everyone loves it. And even though it still doesn't look like a true time capsule, it's just enough retro and modern combined to give the place a lot more soul. And if you're watching this and you have a fast food location near you that still has some old school charm, drop it in the comments because I want to see. But the blueprint for the modern fast food gray box, the minimalism, the neutral tone textured wallpaper, the IKEA chairs that hurt to sit in, the inoffensive abstract art, the dim industrial lighting, it can all be blamed on Chipotle. Chipotle's early 2000s expansion marked a turning point in the fast food industry. Their concept was called fast casual. You still got your food quickly, but the experience felt more elevated. The menu was simple, the ingredients were marketed.
Bro, I love Chipotle. I love me some Chipotle, bro. You know, and honestly, I don't really give a shit about what the inside of a Chipotle looks like, because I never eaten there anyway, to just eat my car. And maybe, you know what? Maybe it's because the vibes aren't there.
Chaos in favor of something more modern. Because of this, they were able to charge a higher price, and teenagers, college kids, and young professionals were more than willing to pay. But they weren't just paying for vibes. Those 2010s Chipotle burritos were massive. You used to get at least 2 servings of food.
No. You gotta get the bowl. 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 That's the hack.
For one price, which made it comparable.
You just have to know how to order it, because you can order it and it can be a nasty fucking bowl.
To
and it's still cheap.
2 fast food trips. Chipotle's success came at a time when McDonald's and other giants were on a rapid decline. In 2003, McDonald's stock price fell to a 9-year low, and in Q4 of 2023 was the first net loss in profits they ever had, losing $344 million. Public pressure around junk food intensified during this period. The Super Size Me documentary further tarnished the company's brand. The doc followed Morgan Spurlock, who ate at McDonald's restaurants 3 times a day every day for a month, consuming every item on the chain's menu at least once. At the end of the experiment, the 32-year-old had gained 24.5 pounds, a 13% body mass increase, increased his cholesterol to dangerous levels, and became the proof the media needed to paint fast food as the face of America's obesity crisis. Entire retail world that an ultra-minimalist design could signal trust and quality. Today, seemingly every fast food chain takes a little bit of inspiration from Chipotle, Starbucks, and the Apple Store, which has majorly contributed to them losing what made them special in the first place. Fast food restaurants were meant to be bold, fun, and kid-friendly, or even calm and cozy sit-downs for the family. But designers Lynn Rosenbaum and Michael Muchoff told the YouTube channel Cheddar that the design choices are nothing more than a marketing tactic.
We have to be perceived as new and fresh and offering food that...
Yeah, because everyone's like, oh, Burger King wasn't the same as it was in the 90s, same with McDonald's, same with Wendy's, whatever. So they're like, oh, maybe if we have this new modernized look, it'll draw people in. And to an extent it may, but the problem is like, yes, it can draw people in, but your food still sucks. So it's not going to keep them. You know what I'm saying? If you drew those people in with the new modernized look, I mean, because even houses, like, I think we are also, to be fair, also are entering a different time where houses are, you know, becoming more soulless. Like, if you look at people, I think just like more simpler shit, and they don't like just stuff everywhere. Grandparents, great-grandparents, typically they're going to have more stuff and more different designs. Well, if you look at someone with a house that's in their 20s, it's going to be a way more simple. It's going to be all marble and white and shit. You know, like, you don't see too many color anymore. And you're seeing that now within the fast food. I think where a lot of these companies went wrong, and like their McDonald's having that $300 million loss in sales, their food quality is just going down because they're trying to raise the profit margins. It's stupid because it would balance out, or they would make more money if they just had better quality food. Even if they spent a little more money, more people would go there.
That is new and fresh. what has changed within our restaurant? We want to communicate that to the customer on the outside, and the easiest way to do that is through architecture and interior design.
How can we make it look healthier, but not actually make it healthier? That's basically the gist. I don't think any logical person is expecting fast food to be healthy, but the risk used to be worth the reward. Because beyond the building design and modern...
Yeah, because it's like you're going to eat shitty food. You might as well have it taste good. I'll go to Culver's, get some bullshit there, because I know it's actually going to taste good. I know it's not good for me at all. I'd rather go there, get some food that tastes better, but is horrible for me, than have it taste shitty and have it be bad for me.
branding, it seems like they aren't even trying to make the food look or taste good anymore. The burgers aren't even close to as advertised, with buns flat as a pancake and lettuce that looks like it was left out all night. Places like KFC refuse to change the oil in their fryers, so you can't even taste the chicken anymore. And those so-called crispy fries you ordered look like they were defrosted, placed under a heat lamp, and served without anyone noticing they missed a crucial step. Even legendary YouTuber The Report of the Week, who has spent the past decade reviewing fast food menu items, just about had a meltdown over the decline in quality and service across every big chain in the US after countless bad experiences in 2023.
Instances not as bad as this, but where there have been problems with my order, with the quality, it's just elapsing more and more. And it's not just Culver's. It's every place.
Hey, don't be hating on Culver's, dude. Culver's, always a great experience.
McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Taco Bell, you name it. There have been so many places, and I'm sure you've noticed this, that I've reviewed in the last couple years, where the food has just been awful. It's quite frankly disgusting. I hate when this happens, and what bothers me even more is when it's becoming more and more of the norm. When I'm trying out these sorts of items, and time and again, it's some burnt piece of garbage. It's some just vile slop, for lack of a better word.
You know what? I don't even care. Listen, I have spent a lot of my working life on the road, and you just fucking get what you get, man.
And it's getting to the point now where pretty much every other item that I review...
Like, I'm bitching about this shit I'm making this video, but, like, I'm not... It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like,
It's disgusting in some way or another. Or it's just so overpriced that it might be alright, but it's like you're burning your money. What's even the point?
But even if...
Yeah, dude, but everything's expensive. Everything. It doesn't matter where the fuck you go, everything's expensive. There's no dollar menus anymore, you know?
Fast food
dollar stores or $1.50 stores.
Lost the fun, lost the undeniable guilty pleasure taste. At least it's still cheap, right? Nope. Chick-fil-A, Arby's, Wendy's, Jimmy John's, Chipotle,
Bro, I love Chick-fil-A.
Taco Bell, Popeyes, and McDonald's all raised their prices by 55 to 100% between 2014 and 2024. Most of us can remember a time where $5 could fill you up at most restaurants. Maybe you'd snag a couple of grillers or a fill-up box from Taco Bell, a McDouble, McChicken, and fries, a famous bowl from KFC, and even if you wanted to get full meals, you'd still spend less than $10. What I found shocking is that Columbus, Ohio has the most affordable fast food in the country, but meals still cost $10 on average. Most cities average $12 to $13 for a fast food meal, and I can say with certainty, at least where I live, that there are plenty of local restaurants serving way better food for $13. Some McDonald's locations were charging as high as $18 for a Big Mac meal.
Yeah, that's crazy because it probably costs them, I'm gonna say for them, or food costs, it probably costs like 50 cents to make that. And I think even with like small businesses, even when I was like working on like food trucks and shit, it's like, oh, you're selling these tacos for $12 or whatever. I can go to McDonald's or, you know, Burrito and buy it for $5. It's like, all right, well, McDonald's also buys in massive amounts of bulk, so they probably get like a single patty for like 5-10 cents. At the same time, man, you have food costs, you have labor, you have gas, water, utilities. There's just a lot of business costs.
So Erlinger attempted to address many of the concerns that Americans had with McDonald's prices significantly rising. What's funny is that they made this graphic that claims to debunk a bunch of myths, while claiming that the facts state that they have only raised their prices by 20 to 40% since 2019. Like they put this obnoxious claim as a myth. McDonald's medium fries increased by 138%, just to attempt to soften the blow when they say that the fact is that the average price of a medium fries was a 44% increase. Like we're supposed to be like, oh, only a 44% increase for fries that are soggy, cold, and take 20 minutes to get? Ah, that's so much better.
You know, if they treated the employees better, I think the food would be a lot better.
Than 138%. The reality is that fast food has entirely changed its value proposition to customers in America. It's no longer about being cheap. It's about being lazy. A professor of marketing at Johns
You're paying for convenience. Instead of you going to the store, buying all the things to cook a burger yourself, you could just swing into a drive-thru real quick.
Hopkins said, these chains are not charity organizations. They're not trying to serve cheap food to people who are complaining about high prices. They're trying to get people who have either stopped going to the store or never went there. I suspect the value pricing approach is working for McDonald's. Okay. So, they killed the vibes, ruined the taste, charged way too much money. Is it at least still fast? Well, kinda. The speed of service has drastically decreased as Americans become more dependent on the drive-thru. America runs on urgency. Our cities are built to drive around, not stop and hang out in. Our work weeks are packed, our commutes are long, and our breaks are short. Everything in our culture tells us to move faster, work more, and consume more. So we designed an entire meal experience around not having to stop moving. Pull up in your car, order before you speak to a person, get your food in a brown bag, and don't even look inside until you're already merging onto the highway, and stuff the fries down your throat with one hand while the other is on the wheel. Drive-thrus aren't about convenience. They're a survival mechanism for a society that doesn't have time to sit down. But now even that convenience is starting to collapse. What used to be a 3 to 5 minute pit stop has turned into a 15+ minute wait behind a line of frustrated.
I don't know, it's just like depends, man. Like if you fucking pull up by McDonald's and you see there's 30 cars, don't expect it to be a 3 to 5 minute fucking wait time for your food.
Drivers. Even places like In-N-Out are facing major problems with lines that literally cause traffic on the highways next.
Honestly, you know what's funny too? Is that there's times where like I'll go to let's say an In-N-Out, and I'll see there's a line of 40 cars. It's down the street, they gotta block shit off, and then I'll go inside, and there's like no one in there. Sometimes you just have to go inside.
Pretty much every Chick-fil-A I've ever been to around lunchtime has 2 rows of 20+ cars bumper
Yeah, and the play is just like don't go in prime times.
to bumper. Many locations are trying to combat these frustrating wait times by having staff walk around with iPads so you can get that somewhat.
Oh, that pisses me off. That pisses me off. I mean, certain places I don't care, like Chick-fil-A, it's like I already know what I want. But if it's like a place like I've never been to before, 10 cars behind, someone comes up to me with an iPad, but like the menu is 50 feet in front of me, it's like, hey, what do you want? I don't know. What do you have?
Satisfaction that your order is being taken care of, but it doesn't make the food come out any faster. Now, you might think that removing drive-thrus in some locations or incentivizing walk-ins would somehow speed things up, but fast food restaurants have done their homework. Research shows that 47% of US consumers would simply avoid going to a store that doesn't have a drive-thru, and twice as many people prefer using the drive-thru to going in store. And that's because of the American go culture, as well as us not prioritizing eating as a meaningful experience. It's just another task to check off the list. Meals in other countries are a cultural staple, a time to slow down, talk, share, and connect. Americans treat eating as something you do out of necessity between meetings, in traffic, or while staring at your phone. And I'm talking to you, who's literally eating a meal while watching this right now. The obsession with quick service, combined with fast food's obsession with margins, is slowly turning these restaurants into massive robotic garages, like this concept released by Taco Bell in 2022 for their new vision for making service easier than ever before, or the new designs Chick-fil-A is rolling
Like similar to like a bank where like the food will just like pop down in front of you.
out that prioritize quick service, or Jimmy John's cutting down the size of their restaurant to resemble more of a studio apartment. To make it even more streamlined, restaurants are releasing AI menu stands that
Oh my god, that pisses me off. That pisses me off. That pisses me off. That pisses me off so much. I've gone to a Wendy's where it had that, bro, and I had to tell it like 4 times what I wanted, and then when it eventually on the screen popped up what I wanted, it was wrong. So it's like re-say it. That pisses me off so much. I think there's potential for that, but I don't think we're advanced enough yet to handle this. It was the most irritating thing ever.
replace human staff members, and the responses have been mixed, with some customers praising the decision and others arguing this is one step further in the wrong direction. So correct orders and no more attitudes for no reason? More jobs with human contact are going away. With fast food restaurants doing everything they can to make service seamless and Americans demanding even more convenience, how far away are we from a robotic arm extending from a building and just dumping the food food right into our mouths. But as grim as the future looks, there is a way to fight this. There is a way to demand change, get better quality food, better prices, better speeds, and an all-around better experience. The solution is quite simple, and it's being implemented all over the world. Fast food is better outside of America, not just by opinion, but by design. Many nations have stricter regulations on food quality, preservatives, and sourcing. In places like Japan, France, or Germany, the ingredients are often fresher, the portions are more balanced, and the presentation is far more respectful of the dining experience. But this change didn't necessarily happen out of respect, it was by force. Like in France, when 5 activist farmers tore down a McDonald's that was being built in the southern town of Malawi in August 1999. They handed out Roquefort cheese at the protest, which they said was to denounce US import restrictions and hormone-treated beef. But this was a calculated attack.
Yeah, the food out here sucks. Like, go to any other country, most people are healthy. Whether out here, most people are not. And I wouldn't even blame that on the food necessarily, but it's just the ingredients. Like, if McDonald's switched back to all beef tallow to cook and fry their food in, and they stopped putting in preservatives in their shit, and they use like actual meat, there'd be no issue going to McDonald's.
That same week, French farmers dumped 6 tons of manure on a McDonald's restaurant in Arles. This was a symbol of resistance against American food imperialism and the spread of unhealthy, standardized meals. And it wasn't just about the food, they were defending culture, agriculture, and tradition. And it worked. French consumers began demanding locally sourced ingredients, and McDonald's responded. Today, around 75% of the food served in McDonald's France is sourced domestically. Now, this doesn't mean go and destroy your local McDonald's, but it is proof that a protest goes a long way. Also, McDonald's Europe became the first food service retailer in many markets to sell Marine Stewardship Council certified sustainable fish. The MSC is widely considered the gold standard certification for sustainable wild-caught seafood. Because if they did not meet these standards, then European countries would simply not allow them to serve fish. In India, they mostly don't serve beef or pork items due to religious values held by the citizens. In China, they serve taro pies. Taro is a plant native to Southeast Asia whose roots and leaves are used for food in this region. In Saudi Arabia, 100% of their menu must—
Yeah, I would like to try McDonald's or somewhere like that in a different country to see what it tastes like.
Be halal. Therefore, all products served at McDonald's restaurants are inspected and approved by local authorities and Islamic inspectors at the countries of export. The point is, McDonald's and other fast food restaurants will abide by socio-cultural, religious, food preferences, and environmental factors, or they will simply not be allowed to serve food in that country. And they might even complement the country with a vibey atmosphere. They'll serve food in decommissioned planes in New Zealand.
Boy, that's actually cool as fuck, dude.
A colorful building pagoda in China, or a ski up in Sweden. The end result: better service, better food, better vibes, and customers who treat eating as something worth sitting down for. All of these point to the fact that fast food restaurants can still be colorful, fun, cheap, and have the best quality food available for their meals. It's just that they only—
There's a cultural difference, man. I mean, and typically in the US, everyone's trying to go modern. Everyone's trying to have these modern houses, and it's the same. So restaurants are following that.
Change when people finally start to walk away. This is not the answer you want, but it is the truth. Sure, the buildings are gray and bland. Sure, the service is slow. Sure, the food doesn't taste as good and corporate greed is driving up the price. But you can protest. You can just stop going. And they will be forced to resort back to the things that made these restaurants special in the first place. But until most of us refuse to order from these fast food restaurants, then nothing is going to change.
W video, like, subscribe, leave a comment to the thing. Bye.
Got these voices in my head, I got some things will never change. Never change, at least I'll stay in my lane. I'll tell this bitch to leave me alone, but she won't get up on my